Lost at sea. The sun was beginning its descent, casting long, dancing shadows across the calm waters of Coffin Bay. Jimmy and Stella, two young adventurers, sat in their small paddle boat, their laughter echoing against the cliffs. They had spent the day exploring the secluded coves and pristine beaches of the national park, and as the day drew to a close, they decided to take one last leisurely paddle before heading back to their campsite. Little did they know that this seemingly innocent outing would turn into a terrifying ordeal. As they paddled further out, the tide began to shift, carrying them away from the shore. Panic set in as they realized they were losing sight of the familiar landmarks. The Navy ship, which had been a comforting presence just moments ago, now seemed like a distant speck on the horizon. The sky grew dark, and the once calm waters became increasingly choppy. Stella, her heart pounding in her chest, tried to stay calm. She knew they had to conserve their energy and paddle towards the nearest landmass. They spotted a small island in the distance, a beacon of hope in the vast, inky blackness. Hours passed, and their arms ached from the relentless paddling. The stars twinkled above them, offering a stark contrast to the turbulent sea. They were utterly alone, surrounded by the vast expanse of the ocean. Fear gnawed at them, but they pushed on, fueled by a determination to survive. Just when they thought they couldn't paddle any further, the tide turned. The waves grew even larger, crashing against their small boat with terrifying force. They were tossed and turned, clinging desperately to the sides. Stella screamed as a particularly large wave washed over them, soaking them to the bone. As the night wore on, the storm raged around them. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating their faces in a ghostly glow. They were battered and bruised, but they refused to give up. They paddled with renewed vigor, their hearts pounding in their chests. Finally, just as dawn was breaking, they spotted the coast. The waves carried them closer and closer to the shore, and with a final surge of strength, they managed to beach the boat. Exhausted and relieved, they collapsed onto the sand, their bodies trembling with relief. As the sun rose, casting its warm glow over the landscape, Jimmy and Stella surveyed their surroundings. They were on a remote, rocky beach, miles away from their campsite. They had no choice but to walk back, their feet aching from the sharp rocks and the long journey. As they trekked through the national park, they encountered a variety of Australian wildlife, including kangaroos, emus, and a variety of bird species. They were cautious, knowing the dangers that lurked in the wilderness. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they reached their car, a battered Ford Mustang parked near the beach. They climbed inside, relieved to be out of the elements. As they drove back to the campsite, they couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and gratitude. They had cheated death that night, and their experience had forever changed them.